healthy mental, wealthy lifestyle. I'm Dr. Lee, your front part MC. We are glad and honored to have invited Ms. Felicia Chong, our MPI counselor who graduated in Bachelor of Psychology and registered in counselor under Board of Counseling Malaysia as our speakers. Before we start, I would like to share about our survey results, which we have taken previously in order to gather information on student stress levels nowadays. Next slide, please. Next, please. Okay, we can see this diagram shows the relationship between the age and emotions. The blue line shows the age 18 to 21 years old, and the orange line is show the 22 to 27 years old. And we can see very clearly that our age 22 to 27 years old have more mental issue than the 18 to 21 years old. This is because the greater the age, the greater the responsibility they must face. They must show their abilities and responsibilities to solve the problem that they never met before. Next slide, please. Next, this diagram shows the stress level of account and finance students, ECE in orange line and the CS in gray line. We can see that ECE students are more extremely severe stress than account and finance and the CS students. And they must communicate with the children. However, account and finance students, they must keep themselves calm to make sure that the data and the number they recorded are not wrong. And fortunately, our CS student emotions are mostly in the mind level. Next, this shows about the relationship between the gentle and the emotion. This diagram shows that our male students is more stressed than the female student, but this is also shows one result which indicates imbalance in gentle ratio in MPI. In forward experiment, the stress level in females should be more than the males. Next, please. And we also can see this diagram is about the relationship between the student years and the emotion. We can see that the year 2 students is more face more mental issue than the year 1 student and the year 3 students because they are in the period of confusion where they wonder the course is right suitable for their future and is a right course for them. Not like the year one student that just start to fit in the new environment, and the year 2 student already confirm their path in the future and know what they want to do in the future. In conclusion, mostly our MPI students are in the moderate level or below the moderate level, which are normal and mild level. And most of the respondents do not have crucial depression, stress, and anxiety issue. But have a reminder, please take note this survey form is simply just an investigation on student condition on handling stress problem, does not represent every student condition, and the data is only valid on the day you fill in survey form. As a friendly reminder, please pay attention and have a seat because now we are starting to learn and understand this mental issue. Now, let us welcome Ms. Felicia to start her sharing. Please, Ms. Felicia.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. So before I start, I'm going to share my slides with you first. Okay, can everyone see my slide? Okay. Okay, so today I'll be presenting to understand what is depression, anxiety, and stress. So for today's agenda, we have what is depression, anxiety, and stress. And then we have the prevalence of depression, anxiety, and stress in Malaysia, symptoms of this mental health problem, causes of depression, anxiety, and stress, ways to manage the symptoms, and also the support system. Okay, first of all, what is depression, anxiety, and stress? Depression, anxiety, and stress are three different states of mental health problem. So for depression, depression is an experience where you feel down most of the time, which is called the low mood. It lasts for several days or weeks, and certain people, if they are a serious condition, it might take few years. But not to worry, depression is actually curable as long as you receive treatment or you try to do self-care. So depression is also something that you loss of interest in things you usually enjoy. For example, you enjoy hanging out with your friends, but all of a sudden you have lost all this interest. And then the third point, depression is something that will make changes in your sleep, appetite, and you feel guilty, demotivated, and generally withdraw from others. This is depression. You will always in a low mood state. Meanwhile, for anxiety, anxiety is a constant nagging worry or anxiousness, which means your worriness is exaggerating, like lasts for over the few days. It's over your level without any reason why are you anxious about. And it is also a fear, panic, or anxiety in situation where most people would not feel anxious or threatened. It is also a sudden panic or anxiety attacks without any clear trigger. For example, I, for example, like I'm gonna give a talk today, but my anxiety level is over the level I am not able to control. So this is called anxiety. And then for stress, stress is usually characterized by a sense of feeling overwhelmed, maybe due to your coping capacity being overstretched or having been under pressure for too long. For stress, if it is a positive stress, it can help you to perform better from day-to-day function. If too much stress, the negative stress will leave us distressed and often exhausted. So an example of positive stress is like students doing their assignment before the due date. The stress will motivate you to finish the assignment before the due date. But if you cannot manage the stress, you cannot focus, you will feel overburning your mind, your physical, your emotion, all, and then you will become unable to do it well. It's not productive. Okay, so this is depression, anxiety, and stress. However, anxiety and stress they are a bit relevant. So when it becomes stress, your stress become extra, and then you become unable to overcome it. Slowly it will lead to anxiety. But for depression, depression is something that you don't feel like doing anything. You just feel sad, and then your mood is always low, not energetic to do something. Okay, for the next topic is the prevalence of depression, anxiety, and stress. So according to a study titled MCO and Mental Well-Being, Home Sweet Home, this study, they have 1,084 Malaysian respondents. So this study has revealed that during the MCO last year, 22% from their respondents reported experiencing severe and extremely severe anxiety. And then women and those less than 35 years old reported experiencing higher level of negative emotions. And then between 18 to 26% of women stated that they experience severe and extremely severe depression, anxiety, and stress. So during this MCO, even like now it's still under MCO, our state of anxiety, depression, and stress are higher than the usual before the pandemic, before MCO. This might due to loss of job, and then you are being controlled that you cannot go out, travel, you don't have the freedom to do what you like to do before the pandemic. And then women experience a higher state of negative emotion according to this study. And then another study shows also 500,000 Malaysians experienced symptoms of depression in 2019. So from the National Health and Morbidity Survey also found that 424,000 children experience mental health problems, and Ministry of Health recorded 465 attempted suicide cases between January to June in 2020. So if you see from here, January and June, between January and June, this is the period where MCO started. And then can you imagine 465 attempts of suicide, sorry. So for the situation now, after the pandemic, mental health issue has become a really concerned topic. And how do we overcome all this? Let's go to the next. Okay, before we manage our symptoms, so we need to know what are the symptoms for depression, anxiety, and stress, right? And then before we start this, I want to tell you something about the myth and fact for mental health. First, mental health problems are rare. This is the myth. So the fact is, as many as 1 in 4 in the world will be affected by mental disorder at some point in their life. This is the fact that 1 among 4%. So the percentage is actually very high to have mental health issue. And then another myth is mental disorder only affect adults. Wrong, this is wrong. The fact is about half of mental disorder begin before the age of 14. And then another one, mental disorder have no effect on physical health. The fact is it increases the risk of getting ill from other diseases, for example, cardiovascular disease, diabetics, and etc. So there is a linkage between your mental health to your physical health. So both are important. Okay, so for symptoms of depression, if we refer to physical symptoms and behavior changes include decreased energy, chronic fatigue or feeling sluggish frequently, difficulty concentrating, making decisions or recalling. And then you will feel pain, aches, cramp, or gastrointestinal problems without any clear cause. Changes in appetite or weight, difficulty sleeping, waking early, or oversleeping. So you might experience insomnia if you are depressed. And then your appetite will change. Maybe you eat a lot or you don't eat. So it's very extreme. This is the physical symptoms and behavioral changes. How about for psychological and emotional symptoms? It includes loss of interest or no longer finding pleasure in activities or hobby. Like I mentioned just now, like usually you enjoy doing something, but all of a sudden you don't feel interested. You don't feel fun to do it anymore. Persistent feelings of sadness, anxiety, or emptiness. You feel sad all the time and then you are anxious about something that you cannot find the cause of it, and then you always feel emptiness, lonely. You feel that you are lonely and that no one understands your situation. Feeling hopeless or pessimistic, you are not longer have positive energy. You get angry easily, irritability or restlessness. Feeling guilty or experiencing feelings of worthless or helpless. And then you have the thought of death or suicide. Maybe you will think that the world is not my place. You want to get out of this world. So these are the thoughts. And then you might also experience suicide attempts. So this is very dangerous for people who are depressed. Suicide attempts. And then next is the symptoms of anxiety. Physical symptoms and behavior changes include if you are anxious, you will experience dry mouth, cold or sweaty hands, muscle tension, racing heart means your heartbeat increase, nausea, you feel like vomiting, dizzy, and then numbness or tingling in hands or feet, shortness of breath, inability to be still or calm, trouble sleeping, ritualistic behavior, for example, washing hands repeatedly. Okay, so these are the physical symptoms that you can see from the the appearance. And then for psychology and emotional symptoms, you are restless, your mind cannot rest, and then irritability or feeling on edge, difficulty controlling worry or fear, dread, panic, repeated thoughts or flashback of traumatic experience, uncontrollable obsessive thoughts, and you will experience nightmares. And then next, symptoms of stress. Symptoms of stress is almost similar to anxiety. You will also experience aches and pains, chest pain or a feeling like your heart is racing, exhaustion or trouble sleeping, headache, dizziness or shaking, experience high blood pressure, stomach or indigestive problems, muscle tensions or jaw clenching, and you will also have weak immune system. And then for psychological and emotional symptoms include the feeling of anxious, depressed, sadness, panic attacks, memory and concentration problems, compulsive behavior, mood swings, trouble remembering. These are all the symptoms for stress. So from here, can anyone catch what I'm presenting, or do you have any questions for me?
Okay, thanks Miss Felicia for sharing the front part. And do you have any questions? Because if you have any questions, please just type in your chat box and we will collect these questions and collect this question to our Padlet so we can gather the questions and try to answer it. If there have any questions, just type in the chat box. If don't have any questions, please give a reaction about raise your hands and to show that you have understand the contents of thank you, the contents of our webinar.
If you have no question, then shall I proceed?
Thank you. Yes, you may continue. Thank you.
Okay.
Felicia.
So it's okay. So, all right. For the causes of depression, anxiety, and stress, as you can see from depression and anxiety, they are almost similar. This depression and anxiety happens like due to your brain chemistry imbalance. So what does this mean? Means your hormones or your chemical neurotransmitter in your brain is imbalanced, hence which makes you feel depressed or your anxiety level is high. And then next is genetic. You're inherited from your family members, from your parents or even your grandparents, that maybe your parents experienced depression before, hence this is inherited to you. And then life events and then trauma, these are both similar, which means during maybe your childhood time or any point of your life have experienced a trauma, you abused by someone before, or you have something traumatic happen to you in your life, hence this cause you to have anxiety or depression. And then for depression here, you can see medication. Some of the medical condition and medication. So this can happen if, let's say, a patient is she have a heart disease. So the medication that they are taking will cause the hormones to change. And then for medical condition means like because of you are having a health problem, so it leads you to become depressed because you are worried of your health, and then you are worried for your financial issue to cover the medical bills. So this can cause depression. And one thing for depression is personality. So your personality will also cause depression. For example, if we compare extrovert person who are more outgoing, friendly, and outspoken, compare with introvert person who is more quiet and then more shy, less interaction with people. So the possibility of getting depression for introvert person will be higher because of they do not speak out what they are thinking, and then they are shy to voice out. Unlike for extrovert person, they are more outspoken, so they tend to speak what they feel like, and then they are always energetic. For anxiety, the cause of anxiety is like I mentioned just now, environmental factors. This one might be due to like your working environment, your study environment, your family, your financial issue, all this, right? And then stress level. If let's say your stress level is extremely high, severe high, then it will become anxiety. It will become anxiety because you are unable to control the stress, and then you feel that it is overwhelming. It's not under your control anymore. And then for stress, the cause of stress, it can be a short-term stress or a long-term. So for stress, the cause of stress is chronic health problem, like long-term health condition. Maybe the person have cancer, so during her lifetime is always battling with cancer. Difficult relationship, for example, challenging relationship with family members, your friends, your peers, you are unable to work with them, you have different thoughts, always argue about something different because of the opinion is different. And then financial problems like your debt. If you have credit card and then you just use it without planning, so your monthly debt will increase, and that's a part where you feel stressed that where you want to get the money to clear off your debt. This is one of the example for financial problems. And then job related stress, high pressure job. You work from 9 to 12 hours, and then your job is always endless. You're unable to finish it on time, and then your boss is demanding, always giving you extra jobs. So this is job related stress. And then like for traumatic stressor, for example, COVID-19 pandemic, this is a traumatic stressor where everyone in the world now is stressful because of this pandemic, that we are always questioning, when can we travel? When can we live normally like we used to live before this pandemic? And then for stress, because of pandemic, I have lost my job. My living expenses increase because of my partner is losing job. So these are also one traumatic stressor that cause stress. And for stress, it can be triggered. Stress can trigger the body's response to a perceived threat or danger, which is known as the flight or fight response. So during this reaction, certain hormones like adrenaline and cortisol are released, which speeds the heart rate, slow down the digestion, changes various of your autonomic nervous function, and then which giving your body a bar of energy and strength. So if the stress, like I mentioned, is positive, it will motivate you to finish your things before the deadline. It will give you extra energy and strength to focus on the thing that you need to be done by now, for example. But if negative stress, it also can lead to some unhealthy habits that have an negative impact on your health. So for example, like many people cope with stress by eating too much, right? So some people, when they feel stressed, their way to cope this is by eating a lot or by smoking. So these unhealthy habits will damage the body and create a bigger problem in the long term. Okay, so next is ways to manage the symptoms. So if you have this kind of symptoms, what can be done? How do you help yourself? Okay, ways to manage the symptoms of depression. Number one, care for a pet. If you are a person who loves animal, then maybe you can go for this option. Because if you have a pet, your pet will always be with you if you need them, and then they will give you some comfort indirectly when you are petting them, you feed them, you will feel happy and then pleasure to do so. You will love them, and then you see with their adorable face, will just make you feel better and calmer. And then secondly, look for support from people who make you feel safe and cared for. So this is one big challenge for depressed people, to look for people. But if you really want to avoid this kind of symptoms, you need to look for someone who you feel safe and comfortable to share your thoughts, to share your feelings, talk to someone. Here, you can see point 3, talk to someone you are comfortable. Talk to them about your problems. Although they might not give you the best solution, but at least they are there to listen to you. And then create morning, evening, or even daily routines. Make sure that your life is more organized so that you don't feel lost, like you don't feel like doing this, doing that, and then feel not positive, not energetic. And then do your best to stick to a sleep schedule. So if normally you sleep at 1 or 2 in the midnight, so you try to create a schedule to help you sleep better, to avoid insomnia or sleeping too much or sleeping too less. So if let's say you sleep at 11 p.m., so make sure you have at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day. A good sleep, quality sleep, will keep you healthy. And then next is Try to eat something nutritious, for example, apples or nuts at least once a day. Why apple and nuts? Because apple and nuts, they have something that can make us feel calm and energetic. And then go for a walk or exercise. Keep yourself active regularly. Do something that brings you comfort, for example, watching a favorite movie, listening to music, read books, or this kind of thing. Or you can do something that finds soothing, yoga, meditation, or you go for a massage. And if let's say you cannot manage your symptoms by yourself, then maybe you can seek for professional help for psychotherapy. Psychotherapy, which is also a talk therapy, or like as you all know, which is also called counseling. Counseling is a kind of talk therapy. So you can look for the professional help to help you overcome depression. Do you have any questions at the moment? Is it clear? Okay, I saw one. Among these three, depression is the most dangerous mental illness which can cause person to commit suicide. How should it be said? Depression can lead to suicide, but any mental health any mental health issue is also, we need to be concerned, because they can anytime have that thought to suicide. But not all depressed person has the thought to commit suicide now. So did I answer your question? Depression has the higher possibility for the patient to commit suicide. Any other questions? Okay, so next we proceed to the symptoms, how to manage the symptoms of anxiety and stress. As I mentioned earlier, anxiety and stress are relatable, hence I combine them together. So to manage your stress and anxiety, you need to stay active. For example, you go for exercise regularly and try avoid unhealthy habits. Like I mentioned just now is smoking. And here is do not drink alcohol, because alcohol will make the situation even worse, right? And then practice deep breathing. So this one is actually a very useful ways to ease your anxiety. When you feel stressed, you feel anxious, you need to take a deep breath, practice it every time. When you are breathing, you will feel calmer. Your heartbeat will become slower, and that will make you more focused. Next is eat healthy and reduce the intake of caffeine. Learn to avoid procrastination. So this means you try to finish your tasks earlier than the deadline. Like, for example, students tend to do the assignments the last minute before the due date, or to do revision one day before the exam. So this one will cause stress and anxiety. To overcome, to prevent feeling of anxious and feeling of stress, then don't procrastinate. Do your task earlier. Complete it earlier before the deadline so that you don't feel the stress. And then learn to say no. When to say no, like just now for the cause of symptom for stress, one is the job related stress. So if your superior is giving you more and more tasks to finish it, then you must learn to say no. Or some task is not actually supposed to be done by you, then you have to reject. This is one of the example lah. And then spend time with your family, friends, or your pets. When you spend time with them, you will put aside of the things that makes you feel stressed. Like if you are a student, then you can spend your time with your families or your friends after having classes. Maybe you can play games with your friend, chit-chatting with your family, cook dinner for your family. These are one kind of way to put aside the things that makes you stress. And then you can listen to soothing music, for example, instrumental music, some positive vibes music. And then next is practice mindfulness, meditation, or do yoga. And then if, let's say, you feel curious what makes you feel anxious, then you can keep a journal. You can write it down in your notebook, and then you keep track every day to see whether if you can find a clue that what makes you feel anxious. Yeah, so you can do this. And then seek for professional help for psychotherapy, like depression. So if, let's say, you still cannot manage this, and then maybe your traumatic experience is bothering you, which you cannot overcome it, then you need to seek for professional help to do a counseling. Any questions? These are some of the ways. Actually, if you have other ways that makes you feel comfortable and suits you to reduce all this, then you can proceed. This is only some of the examples. Actually, there are more ways that you can do to reduce your reduce your anxiety and stress, or even depression. So depending on your preference. Any questions for me? Okay, now then I can proceed. Okay, last but not least is support system. So what is support system? Who can be your support system? Can anyone tell me from the graphic below here. Can you tell who are they and what are their roles? Yes, family, friends. Any else? Yes, community service, neighbors. Yes. Support system are someone who care for you. So if you say your support system is yourself, then it's not quite accurate. Yes, spiritual leader. Some of you here might not all be Christians, some will be Buddhist. So depending on your faith, you can get support from there. Okay, why is it important? It is important that you don't deal depression, anxiety, or stress entirely on your own. You need a support system of caring people. For example, like just now, you all mentioned that family, friends, and then this one, your neighbors, your community, and then this one's your peers, teachers, faith leaders, who make it easy for you to be yourself. So you can easily be yourself in front of them, which makes you feel comfortable, right? And then building and maintaining a strong support system of people who can provide encouragement, help you to keep moving and involved in meaningful activity, and help you challenge your negative thinking is a critical part of self-care plan. So if let's say you do not want to seek for professional help at the moment, you want to try to help yourself first for a self-care plan, then these are the people that you can reach for to be your support system. What are the benefits of having a support system? First, it improves physical and emotional health. Secondly, improve sense of belonging and security. And then you will have better problem solving and accountability. So how this can bring benefits to you? If let's say you, for just now I mentioned improve physical and emotional health, they keep you active, they bring you to do something meaningful. Let's say for your with your friends bring you out for chit-chatting, talk about personal thoughts, will make you feel relief, and then you do volunteering, and then you support, you help the needy person. This can bring a pleasure to you. And then improve sense of belonging and security means like your family will always be by your side. They will not abandon you or leave you alone if anything happened to you. They will always be there for you if you need them. And then for your faith leaders, can teach you how to pray, listen to the word of God. And if you have any questions, or you face any problem, you need to do a decision, then you can share with them about the problem, and also you will get maybe suggestion or another perspective to view the problem. Yes, can also listen to your problems and provide mature suggestion or advice. This is for you to have a better problem solving and you can think out of the box. And then what to say and what not to say when someone is depressed. What you can do is listen without judgment. How do you listen without giving judgment is you give the person an opportunity to share their thoughts, feelings, and experience without judging or offering a solution. Let's say you want to tell your friends about your problems, but your friend is always saying that you think that way is wrong, lah. You do this is wrong, lah. So this is judging. And the one who expressed the feeling will feel defensive because I am only telling you the problem. I am not asking you to say if I'm correct or if I'm wrong. And I do not want you to give me a solution. I just want to tell you my problem. So we as a friend of someone or a family member of someone who is depressed, the most important thing is not to judge them because of they already feel less confident. So if let's say you judge, it will make them feel worse. And then express empathy and encouragement. Let the person know you have an idea what they are feeling. How do you feel empathy? Empathy is different from sympathy. So empathy is something, is a kind of feeling that you can feel what your friend or your family member is experiencing. Like you experience it before, you know how it feels like. But if sympathy or sympathy, you can only feel like, oh, you feel this person is pitiful. You only pity her to have that kind of feeling. So automatically the person who shares the problem with you, they don't think you can understand what she experienced before. So the conversation might not reach the expectation for the person who tells you the problem. And then you can help them to find resources, how to connect, how to search for professional help, and then you can know who to refer to if you are not able to help her or help your friends that who is depressed. And then what shouldn't be say is be strong, be positive, be grateful. This kind of words will only make them feel weak and ashamed for feeling sad. So if let's say you are in that person's shoes, if you have this kind of problems with you, do you want your friend to tell you, be strong, be positive, right? So you won't want them to say this kind of thing to comfort you, but rather you want them to understand you emotionally. And then do not be afraid to ask if they are suicidal. It will not put the idea in their head or drive them to do it. Instead, it can encourage those who have been thinking about suicide to talk about it. So you don't have to avoid asking them if you think about committing suicide. It's okay to talk about it. You don't have to hide it. And then do not minimize what they are going through. So what this means is like you don't tell them, oh, actually your experience or your your situation now is actually way better than others. You should be grateful. You should think that people are experiencing even worse things, so you have to try to overcome it. Then this kind of respond will make them feel misunderstood and frustrated. Everyone experience different level of the problem. So we cannot compare that people experience even worse and you are actually just a mild one, so you don't have to actually feel that way. So this is something that you need to avoid when you are talking to a depressed person. Okay, so if let's say you really encounter a friend who is depressed, so how do you want to start the conversation about mental health? Have you ever think about it? How do you want to start this conversation? Maybe you can comment in the chat box. How do you want to start the conversation? Yes, how are you can be the simplest one. Okay, before you start the mental health topic with your friends or your family, only discuss the topic when and where the person feels safe and comfortable. You don't ask people when they don't feel like telling you and then you force them to talk to you. No, you can only discuss this when the person is safe and comfortable. They do not want people to misunderstood them. So you may try leading with these questions and make sure to actively listen to the response. So for example, you can ask, I've been worried about you. Can we talk about more what you are experiencing? If not, who are you comfortable talking to? I've been worried about you. So these kind of questions will make them feel, oh, you really care about me, and then you would like to know what's happening. Then maybe the person might open to you and try to share it to you. So it doesn't seem too harsh, like forcing the person to tell you the problems. And then you can also start with like, it seems like you are going through a rather difficult time. How can I help you? Or how can I help you to find help? And then maybe another example is, who or has anyone helped you deal with similar issues in the past? So maybe you can remind her again to seek for that person, right? So these are some of the examples of how can you start a topic, start the conversation to talk about this. So in a more polite way, the person will feel comfortable with you and hence will slowly talk about it with you. Okay, this one, sign of when someone is depressed or suicidal. You can observe if the person has loss of interest in things that were previously pleasurable. Withdrawing from social interaction doesn't but the person doesn't involve with activities with friends, and then try to avoid people, avoid talking, and then changes in eating and sleeping routines, easily irritated, and then suicidal ideas. The person makes statements like, I'm so tired of my life. I wish I could never wake up again. So, or I don't care if I live or die. So this one have to be really concerned. These are the first step of them to really commit or to have this kind of suicidal ideas. And then for younger children who are depressed, may avoid going to schools and then often complain of feeling ill. For adolescents, may become sulky and defiant. So you need to know what are the cause of them to avoid schools and then become sulky. You need to care them more, or to get to know what happened actually and try to help them. So normally this one is the first clue that we know if the person has suicide ideation. As you can see from here, this slide, like the question just now, is it depression, anxiety, stress level is the most dangerous to lead to suicidal? It is higher possibility for them to have these suicidal thoughts. So we need to observe and to really be concerned that if someone around you, their mood is low, and then they suddenly change of their habits, then you have to take note on this. Okay, so any questions for this part? Anyone has question on this part? All right, so everyone is clear, yeah? Okay, next. Where to seek help? Where to seek professional help? These are some of the examples that you can reach for. For MPI, you can come to me. I'm counselor in MPI, so anything that you face or you need someone to talk to, you can come to me. And then befrienders. Have you ever heard about befrienders before? So befrienders is an private organizations which mostly they have the crisis help, hotline. If let's say you have suicidal thoughts or you want someone to talk to, they will always be there 24/7. Lifeline Association Malaysia is also an organization, private organization. So you can, if you don't want to go for MPI, then you can go for Befrienders, Lifeline, and then Sokongan, Psychosocial COVID-19. This one, Mercy, is by the government. Their hotline is here, you can call them. And then MMHA is Malaysia Mental Health Association. They also provide this kind of help to people who needs. And then for government one, there is also Aduan Krisis Malaysia, Talian Kasih, 24 hours hotline. So they are always ready for you if, let's say, you need help. And then another one in Cebu is agape. So these are some of the examples where to seek help. And how do I know if I need to seek professional help? Right? Have you ever wondered if you have a mental health disorder? Well, it's a difficult question to answer. Perhaps what we really should ask ourselves is, are my problems and symptoms getting in the way of my life? Does these problems, symptoms stop me from doing what I enjoy, and then I just cannot avoid happening to avoid these symptoms? If yes, then it is time to seek help or to do something about it as soon as possible. One should seek help from a mental health professional when you feel that you can no longer cope with the anguish one you're on. So when you really don't know how, even if you have tried to use all the ways to manage your symptoms, like you try to exercise, you try to keep a schedule for your sleeps, or you try to do this or do that, everything you have tried, but still you mentally feel ill. So when come to this extent, it's time for you to look for the professional help as soon as possible. As it drags longer, it will become more severe. Just like our body, if we get flu, we get cough, we will take medicine straight away to prevent it to become severe, to become serious, right? So same goes to mental health. It's the same way. We need to prevent it to become even serious. So even though we have done all the parts like practice breathing, and then you do something that you enjoy, but still it cannot help, then go for mental health professional. Mental health professional help is the last resource that you can help yourself to become healthy again. Okay, so that's all from me. Do you have any questions for me? No questions? Okay, so I will pass it back to our host talkers. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you, Miss Felicia, for sharing the whole session. And let us to be a little angel for our friends or family and even our community. So just be healthy mindset and healthy lifestyle. So now we are having a test game for you to make sure that you can understand more about it. So we wait for the screen, yeah. Okay, later we will have a test game by using quizy.com. A little similar with Kahoot. So Raymond, are you ready? You all can just type joinmyquiz.com in the chat box. Raymond.
Rima, I can't see your screen. Okay, so if you open a quizy.com, you can see such a like this thing in screen. And please click the website quizy.com and enter the code 858809 and fill out your name. Okay, I see 4 persons inside. Okay. We have 3 minutes to answer 10 questions together in a time. And someone there we left, we can wait for you. Okay, let me see how person. 20%. Come. Hurry up. Okay, I just give 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, someone left?
Ini.
Nobody left, huh? Okay, so let us start now. Oh, Yunyi is the first one. the first? Jill. And second is 支配. Okay, so this is all your result. Okay. So thanks again for joining us, and especially thanks to Miss Felicia for taking job as our speaker. If you anyone who feels so stressed for the homework or anxiety, please contact Miss Felicia, and I think she will be glad to help you.
Yes.
And before we take a photo, there are some announcements. Please, my PPT. Okay, thank you. So the first announcement, we do have a discussion platform which using Padlet. And there are 2 Padlets. And the first Padlet, you can see there are some questions provided, and you may insert your opinion, and also you can just put your own question. The link will type into the chat box. Okay, you can see there are some link. You guys can just click and check. Okay, you also can just screenshot or print screen to the QR code. Okay, so another Padlet is the answer provided toward the first Padlet, which conduct the questions. Okay. The second announcement, this is our feedback form QR code and link in our chat box. You can just click, and e-certificate will only be given to you after you complete the feedback form. So so just be filling up. Okay, we are glad to receive all the feedback from you. Thank you. And have a look to the e-certificate you will receive if you complete the feedback form. Hi. This will be our e-certificate. If you complete the feedback form, and you will get the e-certificate from through email. Okay. So Miss Felicia have something to inform to us.
Yeah. So before we end, I have 10 tips for you all how to stay mentally healthy. So try these tips to help you find the right balance in your life. So first, value yourself. How to value yourself is avoid self-criticism. Treat yourself with kindness and respect. Invest in yourself with a new skill or experience regularly. So this is value yourself. And then secondly, take care of your physical health. Eat nutritious meal, drink plenty of water, exercise regularly, get enough of sleeps. And then the third one, next is establish strong family and social support with people people with strong family or social connections are generally healthier than those who lack of support network. Make plans with supportive family members and friends, or seek out activities where you can meet new people, such as clubs, class, or support group. And then next is be a volunteer. Be a volunteer. Volunteer your time and energy to help someone else. You will feel good about doing something worthwhile to help someone in need. It is also a good way to meet new people. And then next is learn how to deal with stress. So like it or not, stress is part of our life. So in any point of your life, you will experience stress. So try journal writing as a stress reducer. Always remember to smile and see the humor in life. Laugh can boost your immune system, ease pain, relax your body, and reduce stress. So laugh more, okay? And then next is Relax your mind. Try meditating or do yoga to relax yourself. And then 7, set realistic goals. Decide what you want to achieve academically, professionally, and personally. You can write down the steps you need to realize your goals. Aim high but be realistic. So let's say you want to achieve 4.0 in your exam. So how do you achieve it? You have to write down all the steps of how to achieve a 4.0 CGPA. And then break up the monotony. So this means, although routines make us more efficient and enhance the feeling of security and safety, a little change can perk up a tedious schedule. Adjust your jogging route, plan a road trip, take a walk in a different park, hang some new pictures, or try a new restaurant. Try something new. Okay, so, and then most importantly, avoid alcohol and drugs. Keep alcohol use to a minimum and avoid other drugs. Sometimes people use alcohol and other drugs to self-medicate, but in reality, alcohol and other drugs only aggravate problems, which means it produces even serious problem. And last but not least, always seek help. Seeking help is a sign of strength, not a weakness. It is important to remember that treatment is effective. People who get appropriate care can recover from mental illness and addiction and lead rewarding lives. So here are the 10 tips to stay mentally healthy. So you can try to execute this out. And if you really need help, then don't be afraid, don't be ashamed to seek for help. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Felicia, for the tips. So please take the note down and keep practicing. Okay, so I will just repeat one time. Please fill out the feedback form and you can get the e-certificate. And also, not just want to get the e-certificate, but also we also want to learn from this webinar and also how the organizer we need to learn something like, okay. So, okay, please screenshot. And next, PPT next. Okay, this is the donation from Love, Care and Support organization, which collected for people who in need. And please, all of you, feel free to support. And you can screenshot now or find out from feedback form. We will just put all the information inside the feedback form. Okay, so next. Okay, we're still having another webinar. Hope you are willing to join us. And please feel free to visit our Facebook page, Love, Care and Support for more details. Another webinar such as including embrace inclusion related to early childhood education and against child abuse, 勇敢说不. Okay, so please, Nelson, open the Facebook. Love, Care and Support. Okay, this is our Facebook page, Love, Care and Support, and you can just click the link from the chat box. And please give a like. And today's recording will also upload to YouTube. And just stay tuned to our FB page. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, am I too fast? If okay, and I just proceed to next. If okay, just put a hand or yes or good or clapping. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So before we end out, let's do an important thing. Please, all of you turn on your camera and we take a memorable group photo for today's webinar.
Okay. So everyone, please turn off the share screen, please. So I can turn off the share screen first. Okay. Now everyone, please turn on your camera, your front camera. So there will be a total of 3 pages. So you people please maintain your smile while I take photo for the several pages. Okay, start with the first page now. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3. Okay, now second page. Okay, second page. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now the third page. I see some of them didn't open the camera, or is it their second device? I don't know. It's okay lah. Third page now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Okay, thank you everyone.
Okay, so thank you, Joseph, for taking our group photo. And I will post the photos will post into the Facebook page, Love, Care and Support. Just please stay tuned. And we have many information into the Facebook page. So, and also who didn't give a like can give a like now. Okay, so thank you very much. Hope you enjoy today. And just remember to fill in the feedback form, okay? And like our Facebook, okay? Thank you. Enjoy another webinar. Goodbye.